Naperville. Thanks for making time to be with us today in spite of the snow. But as you can see, the roads aren't too bad, right? Yeah. Go figure that one out. You know, sometimes they just like to scare us with the 6-inch weather prediction. We might have had 1 inch over at my place. So we're glad that you're here no matter where you're coming in from. Maybe you're in the middle of snow. Maybe you're in Bahamas with... Have we got anybody watching from the Bahamas? Let us know on Facebook if you're watching from the Bahamas, because I'm going to be coming to visit you really soon. Yeah. And if I haven't met you yet, I'm Kitty Benson. I'm the minister here at Unity, and we love to get together every Sunday and just remind ourselves of who we really are. We're spiritual beings, having this human experience for a while, just to see how well we can grow through it and become more of our true divine potential. So thanks for making time to do that for yourself. And one of the ways we do that is with our music. Our lyrics are so important to change how we think. So if you will just stand as you're able, stay seated if it feels better. Kim-Char's back to help lead the way. Thank you, highest good. Thank you, everyone. Let's sing.
Good morning, everyone. How are ya? No, how are ya? Leg up. Put your right hand. Here we go. Let's declare this today. I will not consider myself any less than who I am. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. See here now, I got me the best suit on. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. From a perfect God, perfect creation, from the Holy One. And launch the fireworks. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. I kick up my heels, 'cause I know my worth. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. From a perfect God, perfect creation, from the Holy One. Let's sit in that for a moment. I will not consider myself any less than who I am. I will not consider myself any less than who I am. Do you feel that? Yeah, I will not consider myself any less than who I am. One more time, declare it. I will not consider myself any less than who I am. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. I wish I could remember that 24/7. Oh my goodness. So that's why this is good, isn't it? We remember it now. And we're fully present now, remembering this truth. And anything that blocks it in this moment, we release. We raise the veil. raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil between thee and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil, and I want to know you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to see you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to hear you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to feel you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to praise you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil, and I want to love you. Oh God, I'm raising the veil between me and my God. No separation, no distance at all. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil, and God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. God is right here in my heart. I'm raising the veil.
Thank you. Yes, that feels good, right? It's our opportunity. So let's just turn within for a moment and raise that veil, revealing that higher presence in our heart, the presence that loves constantly, openly, unconditionally. God is right here in our heart. We're grateful, Spirit, to know this truth every day, all day, throughout the night. We can never be separate from this one presence, this one power. So it is. Amen. Let's speak that truth. Let's speak our invocation that's up here on the screen together. There's only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you. You may be seated.
So this is a newer song for us. Our friend Denise Rosier. Spirit, we Thank you for the life that sustains us. We are bountiful. Spirit, we are beautiful. In spirit, we are beautiful. Spirit, we are beautiful. Here in the light that surrounds us, we are beautiful. Spirit, we are powerful. Spirit, we are powerful. Trusting in the mind that guides us, we are powerful. Spirit, we are bountiful. Spirit, we are bountiful. Thank you for the life that sustains us. We are bountiful. Spirit, beautiful. Spirit, powerful. Spirit, bountiful.
That one. Yes. So simple and so true and so perfect for today's message. As usual. Thank you. Thanks, you guys. So, are you ready to get rid of this sign? Yeah, I think so too. We've been talking about uncertain times and that we're perhaps ready now to make some conscious choices that override these uncertainties. And it just requires us being present to the moment. And we'll talk a lot about how we can do that today. But we should probably start by knowing that the way that we're built as human beings is that we are unconscious 95% of the time. That just stink. I'm serious. They've done studies. They've discovered that subconscious in us is the one that's doing the driving most of the time. We're on autopilot most of the time, just repeating what we've done before. And then when the uncertainty kicks in and there's a misunderstanding going on between you and someone else, or there's differences or bias or changes, that really ramps up the emotion. And therefore, your subconscious really starts to dig into the file and say, okay, where did we run into this before where I felt upset, where I felt afraid, where I felt anxious? Let's pull out this. But of course, it didn't really work well the last time if we're actually responding from the past, if we're responding from the negative emotion, we rarely get to a positive result. So how can we become conscious when that happens to us? And the body, the brain, are both ready to just do what we've done before. This is when I've been saying making a conscious choice, I've been actually talking about letting your spirit make that choice for us. To be so in tune with what your inner wisdom is that you can't make a mistake. And actually, Spirit would never say you're doing it wrong. It would just simply be there and say, I'm here, I'm present, I love you. listen, be still, and know. Something that Emily Cady talks about from her book, Lessons in Truth. She said, intuition and intellect are meant to travel together, but intuition holding the reins to guide the intellect. So I'm going to ask you first, wondering if I wish I had a microphone for this, but I'll just repeat what I hear. Okay, Kathy's going to run around and hear your version. What is intuition to you? How would you describe it? Raise your hand. Let Kathy tell you what's going on for you. How would you describe intuition? Oh, inner knowing, okay. And Christina, did you have something different? She's back there behind the...
I would say inner wisdom.
Inner wisdom. Okay, thank you. Who else?
Gut feeling.
Gut feeling?
I would say the little voice that I often don't pay attention to that seems to come out of nowhere with a random idea.
Okay, yeah.
Two things, actually. Thank you, Kathy. Sometimes in a deja vu in a dream, I know what's going to happen next. And is that intuition? So that's one way I get intuition. And another way is just a feeling that gets stronger, and it doesn't get weaker. It gets stronger.
Okay, yeah. Anybody else? How would you define intuition? Nudging. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Kathy. So I like to think of it as the divine mind, or you might call it your higher self, you might call it spirit, communicating guidance. It does it in different ways. We'll talk about that in a minute. But the gist of it is all of those ways that it comes through, it's coming from divine mind, spirit, God, our source, our creator. And it's coming through because it's trying to point us in the right direction so that our life experience here can be one of well-being and creativity and growth and evolution. Constantly trying to let us know. Our co-founder of Unity, Charles Fillmore, said that divine knowing, another word for intuition, is direct fusion of mind of God with mind of man. That's cool. Sometimes we're taught by symbols, visions, and the like, but this is only one of the ways that divine mind has of expressing itself. So you did a good job of naming some of the ways that we experience it. The inner knowing, a feeling. Some people literally hear a voice like somebody standing right next to them. That's a wowzer, right? But more often we hear it as a thought in our mind that sounds very much like our own thoughts. We just have to learn how to differentiate. There's a divine idea that'll pop in, or that Kevin mentioned, having a dream that was just so clear about something specific that it was more than just what you ate for dinner. And then there's those repeated occurrences that you have where you keep bumping into the same person or have the same experience over and over again, like it's trying to point something out to you. Some of us have like the hair standing up on the back of our neck when something's happening and we're trying to understand where it's coming from. And have you ever gone to an event or a party and there's tons of people around, but you're drawn to just one person you don't know? You chat with them a little bit and you find out they had some information for you. Have you ever had that happen? There's a lot of different ways that spirit will communicate to us. This is our inner tuition, our inner teacher speaking to us. And as I mentioned, it's trying to bring a higher perspective into our life experience that we can't usually get with just our brain, with just our past experience that's stored in the subconscious. The cool thing about our inner teacher is it's not limited to the physical world and what we can see and touch and taste. It knows above and beyond the physical world. It's not limited by time. It's not limited by space. So you could know something about a person that's miles away from you, or you could know something about the future rather than just the present moment. It isn't necessarily logical what's coming through to you, and it knows that it knows the way to the highest good more quickly than our lower self will get to know it. So, for instance, you might be hanging out with somebody and ask them how they're doing, and they'll say fine, but you can sense a deeper feeling in them. That's your intuition saying they're not fine. And you might be able to comfort them right now. There might be something that you could say here. Have you ever been in a situation where you get a bad vibe? A bad vibe? Think of that as when your higher self knows that the person you're about to talk to or the experience you're about to go in is going to try and manipulate you or lie to you, but your lower self is completely unaware. You've got two different frequencies going on. Your lower self is just do-do-do-do-do, and your higher self is pay attention. And those two energies, when they bump into each other, feels like what we call a bad vibe. So when you get that, where it just feels uncomfortable in your being, just know, okay, there's something going on here that I need to look more closely at. Maybe it's, Sonia Choquette, she's a great, she's a psychic, so she can actually tap into this stuff pretty easily. But she told the story about how she's going in her car to pick up her kids from school, and she just suddenly got this need to turn left instead of where she was headed. So she turned left, and she's used to this. So she's like, okay, well, this is interesting. Wonder where we're going. Turn right. So she turns right. She's like, gosh, this is so wild. This is not where I was planning to be right now. And she comes up to a stop sign, and this toddler in a diaper in a snowy, cold day is running down the street and crosses in front of her car. So she pulled over, she got out, she got the baby, and she just started walking up and down the street. Instead of putting the baby in the car and taking it to the police department, she just started walking up and down the street. And suddenly she was drawn to a house with its front door open. And she walked up to the door, and this woman's like, is this your baby? Yes, you have my baby. And she said, is it really your baby? And she said, well, I'm the babysitter. Yeah. So she shared that information with the parents later on that night. But just felt that urge to turn in a different direction. Just know, if we are in tune, if we're creatively listening to what's going on inside of ourselves, it's amazing the kinds of things that Spirit will guide us to do. And I wasn't a big sign person in my life until I was asking a big question: should I start Unity in Naperville? And over and over and over again, those signs affirmed to me. And if I hadn't been looking for them, I could have missed them. But they were so loud and they were so constant, and they were all saying the same thing, that finally when the car drove by me as I'm saying, should I go to Chicago? And the license plate says, go Kitty. I'm thinking, my intuition, my higher self is telling me that I should go. So the problem comes when we are in fear or feeling uncertain, because that energy, we all know what fear feels like in the body. It just feels heavy and contracted. And when you feel that way, your energy is too low to be able to receive from Spirit what it's trying to tell us. And I think we all can feel that. So what we're trying to do at that moment is recognize it and dissipate the fear. And we're going to do this right now as, well, let me just put it this way. When you acknowledge it out loud, let's just say that. You don't have to acknowledge your fears right now out loud. But what I want you to think about is just getting clear on what you're afraid of. Maybe it's, I'm afraid that I will fail. I'm afraid that I'm going to lose out. I'm afraid that I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm afraid that people won't like me. And you just keep putting those out there. And what you're doing, as Sonia would say, is you're taking out the garbage. So get rid of those fearful ideas. Just say them out loud so that you can hear them. And then, as you run out of ideas, you might just say, and what does Spirit say? My Spirit says, and see what comes out of your mouth. After you've eliminated all the negative ones, my Spirit says, and then see what comes out of your mouth. You might even ask Spirit, is this fear really my fear, or did I inherit it from my parents? Is this fear something that is a bad habit and I just need to let it go? Is it really real? Do I really believe this fear? And just see what your Spirit says. It'll usually be a very calm response, not very lengthy, just a few words or just a calm, easy knowing of what's true. But the more you make space for your intuition to come through, the more empowered you are in your life. The more opportunity you have to reveal who you really are as spiritual beings, instead of always living according to what your body is telling you to do, or your emotions are telling you to do. So to become empowered, we're talking about turning within and listening for that divine wisdom. It's always available. It's the mind of God that we live within, so we cannot but help but be in the presence of that divine wisdom that we're looking for. And as I said, in order to receive it, you have to be at the same frequency. Your frequency is created, it means the energy that you're sending out into the universe is created by what you've stored in your subconscious. That's really the number that you resonate at. Not a number, but you might be the person who, when people talk about you behind your back, they say, yeah, they're so grumpy all the time, or you're so lighthearted, or you're so fearful. My mom was a worrier. That's how I would describe her. So what is your energy signature that you carry around most of the time? Realize that it's there because we've built it up over time and stored it into the filing cabinet, and that's what we just resonate out into the universe. So it's difficult to hear what our higher self is saying when we're resonating at a lower energy. Higher self is always at that higher energy of love and compassion and care and gratitude and joy. So if that's not our common signature, then it's going to be hard to hear that. So I realize that sometimes when you're in uncertain moments that you can't just jump from fear to joy, but there's ways that we can get into this, this attitude and change our point of view. This is what I think Paul was talking about from Romans chapter 12. He said, do not be conformed to this world. In other words, don't let it tell you what is real and true. Be transformed by the renewing of your minds so that, why? You may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. This is why we pray, is to change our mind, renew our minds, not to get God to do something for us. We pray in order to change our own mind, our own subconscious. And we pray affirming the truth about God. We pray speaking words that are of light and truth and power, so that little by little the subconscious starts to give out or give away or phase out those negative beliefs, and we start looking for truth in our lives. We retrain the subconscious. You can literally go to bed and tell yourself, subconscious mind, only take instruction from my higher self. When you wake up in the morning, subconscious mind, only take instruction from my superconscious mind, my Christ mind. Do that enough times, and it will start turning in that deeper direction than out here somewhere to come up with its ideas. And we speak affirmations of truth regularly to change that subconscious. Let's say a few of these up here on the screen. These are words of truth that will help us remember we have a higher point of view to reach for. Let's say this together. God's thoughts are my thoughts. I'm open and receptive to perfect guidance. So in that moment when you're feeling like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? That's your answer. God's thoughts are my thoughts. I'm open and receptive to perfect guidance. Let's do this next one. The voice of Spirit guides me clearly as I make right use of my money. How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to afford that? Oh, wait. There's an answer within me. Let me turn inside and find it. Let's say this third one. As I enter this conversation, my words follow the wisdom of my heart. So I get that a lot of times we can get into a worry where it just tends to loop. It won't stop. Have you had that experience? Same negative, fearful thought goes over and over in our mind. That's going to interfere with our conscious choices because we can't hear spirit while we're feeling bad about what we just did or feeling afraid of what we might do in the future. So one of the most important things we do first when we're trying to hear from our higher self is to become present in this moment. Kim-Char was talking about that today. Become here and now, because most of our troubles are coming out of the past experience or the fear of the future. So we get present, which means let's just try this right now. You're sitting in a quiet place. That's a good start. And I'm going to ask you to just look around the room and pick an object. And in your mind, silently, just say, I see a chair. I see whatever it is you see. And then as you're looking at that object, I want you to just breathe it in slowly into your heart and then blow out like you're blowing out a candle, thinking the word empty. So it'd be, I see a chair. I'm breathing that chair in through my heart. I'm blowing out empty. Pick another object in the room. Wherever you are at home, let's do this. Name your object silently. Breathe it into your spirit. Blow it out with the idea of empty. One more time. Pick another object that you can see with your eyes. Breathe it in, maybe through the bottom of your feet. Blow it out like a candle, thinking empty. And what you're doing is you're becoming present. Present to the chair. It's just me and the chair. And right now, there's no argument going on. There's nothing to fear here. I'm safe. I'm secure. You've just calmed yourself down so you're more open and receptive to what Spirit wants to say next. When we're in these uncertain times, I don't know about you, but it feels like time is speeding up. My pace is a lot more quick than it used to be, having to make a lot more decisions, it seems. So when you're in that rushed energy, that's another heavier, slower energy, unlike Spirit, which makes it difficult to hear what Spirit is saying, and therefore the choices we make are not going to be for our highest good. So let's take another opportunity to breathe ease. When you're about to make a decision and you notice that you're feeling rushed, literally stop what you're doing, sit down if you can, but no motion. And as you take a breath in this time, just think, I am breathing in ease. What does that feel like? Imagine that maybe it's this beautiful golden liquid light that's pouring in through the top of your head as you're breathing it down through your body. It's warm, it's soothing, it's easy. Life is flowing easily through me. There is no rush. I'm simply present, quiet, open, and receptive. I feel this ease bathing my thoughts, bathing my emotions, breathing ease. And now open up and see what Spirit wants to guide you to do in this situation. Really, the greatest tool that we can use when we're trying to get conscious about our choices is the power of love. And that power is something we talk about a lot. It's one of our 12 spiritual powers. So let me share with you what Charles Fillmore would use to describe it. He said that love is an inner quality that sees good everywhere and in everybody. It insists that all is good, and by refusing to see anything but good, it causes that quality finally to appear uppermost in itself and in all things. Divine love will bring your own to you, adjust all misunderstandings, make your life and affairs happy, harmonious, and free. That power of love brings the good to you. That's what your intuition will do too. It will bring your good to you. It will look for the good first and bring it into your conscious awareness if you will be open to it. So, practicing love in many different forms is practicing heart qualities, which is something that Heart Math Institute talks about a lot. I've mentioned to you before that my past minister, David MacArthur, worked at Heart Math Institute, then he went back into ministry, and he taught my church about how our heart works. And the Heart Math Institute, in my opinion, is studying how love promotes intuition. They may not use those words, but first, let's hear from one of their research director, Roland McCready, about how they see this, and then we'll talk a little bit more. Parker, you want to help just get the...
Heart math tools and techniques really help you access the intelligence of the heart so we can make better choices in the moment and really navigate these stressful times. What we hear from people across the world, across all professions, is that stress, anxiety, and overwhelm are really out of hand. And a lot of this is due to so much change that's happening. And the way our brains work, we don't like change. Humans do not like change, especially unexpected change or change that we're not in control of. And as it turns out, one of the most effective ways to really reduce stress and anxiety, and even feelings of overwhelm, is to learn how to access the intelligence of the heart and shift the rhythms of the heart, which sends a different neural message to the brain. So one aspect of our research is really focused on developing simple, practical, user-friendly tools and techniques that allow people to really manage their stress. So a lot of people, probably even today, if you think about it, have had a situation where you were being told to do something or you wanted something, but there was a deeper sense or a deeper feeling that it's probably not the best choice. So that's what I mean by that lack of alignment. And that can really be a huge source of stress for people until they learn how to really get the alignment between the heart and brain, which is where coherence comes in. That's when the heart, mind, and emotions are aligned and working together harmoniously.
So you see that right there. That's an example of when your brain waves, your heart rate, your breath is all jagged. They call it inhibition and chaos. But when you start introducing appreciation into your consciousness, love, care, compassion, it starts to even out so that all of your heart, your breathing, and your brain are all in sync with each other, which again is raising your energy and allowing you to be more open and receptive to your intuition. So they use a physical heart, but there's also a spiritual heart that's right there at the center of your being. That's what Unity would teach, and it's that spiritual heart that is the voice of God. And when you get your heart in this nice, even rhythm, your physical heart, it basically opens the door to the spiritual heart, so you can hear what Spirit's trying to guide you into. So the heart qualities that they talk about are love, care, appreciation, compassion, kindness, and ease. Those are the actual thoughts that we want to keep in mind until we can feel them in our body. So we're going to walk through a few of those heart opening exercises, and heartmath.org will get you there. There's all kinds of resources to help you do this on your own. But this whole idea is lifting our energy. So let's say that you're having one of those nights where you wake up in the middle of the night worrying and you can't seem to turn it off, right? And so one of the things that you want to do is just think of someone that you care about in that moment. You know, you might actually have anybody sleep with a pet on your bed, you know, just there they are. So just send your thoughts over in their direction and just send them some love. Or send love to someone. Remember, space doesn't matter, so send love to someone that you care about that lives miles away. Maybe your children. And as you start to feel that love and compassion, maybe not for someone that you appreciate, but someone that you know is going through some kind of emotional upheaval in their life, or they're experiencing a hardship in their life. Not only could they use your loving energy coming at them, but what this ends up doing is soothing your mind. So you're not caught up in that worry loop any longer. And as you do that for a few minutes, you'll start to see there is nothing to worry about. Your energy has been rising. And now if you want to ask Spirit, what's the most effective thing I can do about this problem, then let Spirit answer your heart. Another exercise is when you're dealing with somebody that upsets you. Anybody had that problem in your life? I told this story a while back, but it's always a good one for me. Going to a church, I was serving on the board with someone else who would come to the meetings but wouldn't come to church. And so I called him one day and just said, we really miss you at church, and as a board member, I think you should be there. And as you can see, I was using my manipulation. And he immediately resisted, and an energy came up that didn't feel good. And we both started behaving like 5-year-olds on the phone. But at the same time, I was going to a church where I just learned about heart math. And one of the things that you do when you're in the middle of this negativity is to drop into your heart, just put your head down into your heart, take a breath, think of someone that you love or appreciate, care about, and as you feel that energy, like in my case, he's going off on me, and I just went to this person that I was with recently and laughing and having a good time, and I just went into that memory and felt that laughter in my heart, and then I said, Spirit, what's the best answer to this interaction we're having? And immediately the thought that came into my mind was, tell him he's right. He didn't think that I should be telling him what to do. And I thought, well, I have to sincerely agree with that, and really it isn't my place. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Well, that opened up his heart, and then we wound up having a very good, kind conversation, supportive of one another. It was love, appreciation for someone else that got me into a higher energy that allowed me to hear what Spirit would recommend in that moment, and then I had to be willing to do it with a genuine, open heart. Because if you just like, all right, you're right, that's not going to do it. We have to be in the frequency of that care. So at that point, our walls come down and we can have a conversation that's healthy and whole. We also don't have to wait until you're in one of those conversations. If you know that somewhere during the day you're going to end up with a difficult person, or you're going to be going into a hard meeting, or you're going to go into working on a project with someone that's requiring a lot of creativity, or you have to have a sensitive conversation with your child, then prepare for it with love. Spend some quiet time alone, seeing yourself in the experience or with the person in the future, and project love or compassion or care or ease or kindness into it in your imagination. See that energy working with both of you or whoever's involved until you start to soften. And then when you go into the situation, literally, keep that going. Keep projecting that type of energy into the situation, and you will find that whatever it is that's requiring higher thought will be there for you because you're in alignment with Spirit and it's able to communicate what is yours to do. So one of the things that happened to me years ago was I got a call from a friend of mine, and she was upset because she'd noticed some bank withdrawals on her statement that she didn't make. And she contacted the bank, and she sat down with them and watched a video, and whoever it was that was using an ATM machine, the camera had been pushed so you couldn't really see who the person was. But she had already thought that it was probably her teenage son. They had to have their card, or at least their number, to be able to get the money out. And so she started to assume that it was their son. They'd had trouble with him lying in the past, and she just didn't want to just go out and accuse him without proof. So she was trying to figure out what to do, and she realized she had a friend in law enforcement, so she literally was going to ask him to come to the house representing or trying to pretend like he was from the bank security and ask the family some questions about, the missing money and see if he wouldn't fess up. But she just felt like that was deceptive, and that wasn't sitting well with her, which was her higher self, So she's saying, like, what do I do? And I just took a moment to breathe, to soften, to get into my heart space. And the words that just came out of my mouth were, do you love your son? Well, of course I love my son. Okay, well, why don't, between now and the meeting that you've got scheduled tonight with your family and with this law enforcement person, why don't you just send him love until that meeting and turn this over to that power of love and see how it winds up? So she did. She let go of this situation, and she gave her thought time to sending love to her son. And the first thing that happened was she got the clear guidance, cancel this meeting with this law enforcement person. So she did that, but she still kept the gathering scheduled for her son and her husband and herself. And when they got together, they said, here's what's happening, and do you know anything about it? No, he said. And then he just immediately did an about face and said, yes, I did it. And he went to his room and he brought out a checkbook of his own personal bank account, wrote him a check for the money he'd taken out and gave it to him. And I think that the reason that he wound up admitting to it is because he was sensing love from his mother, at least, She'd been putting out that love all day. He was sensing that it was safe to be truthful with them. And that thought, that idea of love is something that can transform anything that you're going through. I mean, it's the most conscious choice that you can make. Uncertain times or calm times, the most conscious choice that you can make begins with that energy of a loving intent, rather than the energy of deciding out of fear or deciding out of anger, which will pretty much just keep you in the hole you're in. Seek to know the next step by first entering into the frequency of love, care, compassion, gratitude, joy, all these high-level energies. Until you and Spirit are in sync and communicating, and ask your questions and wait for those answers. Really, all you have to do is take one step with love, and then the next step will be revealed, and then the next step after that. So, who knows what the times have for us in the near future, in the next 2-3 years? Who knows? We never know, right? Not this is any special season. We never know what the future holds for us. But we can certainly have the guidance we need in the moment if we will start practicing opening our heart to hear the highest guidance available to us all the time. So you want to do that now in some meditation? Let's do a little practice. I'll just invite you to feel the chair beneath you. Feel it supporting your whole body. That's one way to become present in the moment. Feel your chair. Feel your feet on the floor. Notice your breathing. Don't change your breathing, just notice it. Sense the temperature of the room against your skin. Scan your body for any tension or discomfort. And if you come across something that feels uncomfortable, breathe love into that area. Bring your attention to your heart and begin to breathe through your heart. Just imagine that that's where your breath is moving in and out, is in your heart space. Scan your life right now. See if there's something that's feeling like a pressure, not going the way you want it to. Are you living in regret of something from the past? Worrying about something in the future? Something that you'd like guidance about. What is it in your life that Spirit might have a higher point of view for? Whatever that situation is or that person, set it on the shelf of your mind and come back to breathing through your heart. And now turn your attention to someone that you care about. When you think of them, your heart warms up. And just continue to hold them in your mind until your heart feels that appreciation. Or maybe it's an experience you've had that's brought you joy, a beautiful place in nature. Go there now until you feel your gratitude for that experience. Whether it's love or joy, compassion, just feel that for the next few seconds. As you feel that warm appreciation filling your heart, look at that issue you set on the shelf and say, Spirit, what's the most effective response to this situation? A thought may come to you. A feeling, a picture, or it just may be very quiet right now. And if you don't get an immediate response, just know you can do this. Might take repeated practice. And then suddenly you'll just know. Take a moment now to give thanks that the wisdom you need, the love that you're seeking, is present in you right now. The love in my heart will grow the consciousness I seek. The answers that I seek live within my heart, and I am grateful. This is the truth of my being, and now I let it be. Amen. So I'll point you back to heartmath.org. Is that the right website, Christina? Okay, heartmath, M-A-T-H is what I'm saying, .org. And lots of resources to help guide us in entering that energy of appreciation until we're connecting with Spirit's guidance. So I encourage you to look into that. That presence of love is something that we bring into our experience of giving. So when we come to this time in our service where we share our tithes and our love offerings, it's another opportunity to do that with the energy of love. Not only does love guide us in our giving, but it also expands the purpose and the goodness of what we give. So if you're watching online and you haven't given yet to Unity and you're appreciating the community and what you're receiving from it, this is a great time to give back. We have a website, unityinnaperville.org, with a donate button on it. We also have a P.O. box if you want to send a check to P.O. Box 9733 in Naperville, and the zip is 60567. But most importantly, we bless what we give with love. So let's say these words together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and I am grateful. Thank you. Ushers, will you come?
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Thank you. Ah, beautiful. Good morning, everyone. Morning. I'm Kathy Folser. I'm here to read the announcements. Excuse me. But first, if you are joining us for the first time, whether you're here in person, whether you're online, we're just glad to have you here. And if what you heard today resonates, come on back. You can sign up for our weekly e-newsletter at admin@unityinnaperville.org. Sorry about that. You can also sign up for Kitty's twice monthly New Thoughts newsletter. Same place, admin@unityinnaperville.org. And a little editorializing, you can also go on YouTube and watch some of Kitty's previous sermons. Okay, let's dive in. What's going on at Unity? If you were born in February, we want to celebrate you. Yay. I think Parker was born. Parker, were you born in February? Oh, okay. He wants to celebrate you. He just wants to celebrate us. So forward a photo to admin@unityinnaperville.org. Include your birthday. You don't have to put the year in if you don't want to, just the day, and we obviously know the month. Do that by Thursday, and then we will sing to you. I was going to try my best Uncle Sam impression. We want you. But I think it's not very good. But we do. We want you. We want volunteers. Shamrock Shenanigans. Wait, is that what it's? Yes. Shamrock Shenanigans coming up March 18th. We want volunteers. So come. You can help out in advance. You can help out the night of. Teams include food and drinks, decor, setup and cleanup, and tickets and games. We do ask that the volunteers purchase an admission ticket to support our event as well. So sign up in the front room or that email address, which I'm going to remember how to say, admin@unityinnaperville.org. If you were here or online for our White Stone ceremony, you know how powerful that was. If you have not had a chance to do that ceremony, we still have some stones. We will mail those to you for a $40 donation, or come into the front room and pick one up for free. Fill out the form at unityinnaperville.org if you'd like to have that mailed to you. And then when you do your personal ceremony, go to YouTube, look for the January 15th service, and that will guide you. Powerful, powerful meditation. Okay, everything I'm about to say is on our website at unityinnaperville.org. Join us today after the service, lunch at the patio. Yes. Woohoo! I think Reverend Kitty will be there. 4400 Fox Valley Drive in Aurora, so just a couple minutes away. Oh, it's at Fox Valley Mall. Okay, yeah, so close. The patio. If you are part of our online community, I'm talking to you out there, come and make new friends, hang out after the service. It's just like you're here in the room with us. Reverend Kitty will be here for backroom banter today after the service. So she's bilocating. She's not just psychic. She's not just a spiritual leader. She is. Wow. So what you'll do is go to the events calendar, and then you'll look for the Zoom link from there. It's not this same link that you're on right now. All right. Monday Morning Metaphysics meets tomorrow online at 10:30 a.m. That's Central Time. The group is currently reading the Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Ruiz, sorry. Okay, Vision Board Workshop coming up next Sunday with Deb DeSantro, 12:30 to 3:30 p.m. Central Time. It'll be on site and online if you want to join us virtually. The love offering is $30, and you'll register online, see the events calendar for that. The February grief support meeting has been canceled back in March. I'm imagining we'll find out later. Join Reverend Kitty for her next What is Unity class online Wednesday, February 15th at 7 p.m. And as always, details are on the calendar. And of course, prayer chaplains are available to pray with you if you would like to have personal, confidential, uplifting, affirmative prayer support. You can, email to prayer@unityinnaperville.org, or if you're here, a prayer chaplain will meet you at the meditation room after the service. If you need a call, we'll call you by 1 p.m. Sorry, I don't do football. So, yeah, just nah. My joke about the Super Bowl is, wait, that's basketball, right? So, yeah, sorry. Total Debbie Downer here when it comes to Super Bowl. Okay, sorry, back up. I wonder why Christina was waving at me. I'm like, I love you too. Okay. I don't know what's going on. See, Kitty can bilocate. She also has eyes in the back of her head, right? I barely have eyes in the front of my head here. So, yeah, trying to keep up. Okay, so February 12th. Join us after the service for the Super Bowl potluck. Bring a main dish or an appetizer to share. Dessert will be provided.
It's at night.
Oh, starts at 5. Oh, what do I know?
So this is a tailgate party, right? This is pre-Super Bowl party, tailgate at Unity. In a nice, wholesome, spiritual way, right? So RSV in the front room, or you can send an email to admin@unityinnaperville.org. And I think I'm caught up now. Yes. Okay. Thank you all. Have a wonderful week.
Good job. Okay. Well, I invite you to stand as you're able for our last song. And go ahead, Kevin. You can start us off with there. And actually, Kitty is not the only one who can bilocate. No, I think we all can fully occupy heaven and earth at the same time. Yes? Let's do it moment by moment, day by day.
There is your instructions for tapping into your intuition, right? Seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing. That's our work this week. Here's our closing affirmation for today, up here on the screen. Together. Oh, you had it. There we go. My conscious choices always grow from a loving heart. So keep tapping in this week. Keep asking Spirit, finding that way to a higher life. That's what we're all about. Thank you for doing that. And you guys, if you're watching online, truly hang out with me for a few minutes in the Zoom room. Go to the calendar and click on the link for today. And we'll talk for a few minutes and just see how the service was for you today and get to know each other, okay? Love you guys. Have a great week. See you sometime, I'm sure.
So, Paul, which camera do I look into to say hello? Well, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today for our service. Sing along as we sing this song one more time. I will not consider myself any less than who I am. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. See here now, I got me the best suit on. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. From a perfect God, perfect creation, from a holy one, I've received this revelation. From a perfect God, perfect creation, from the Holy One, I've received this revelation. Light up the sky and launch the fireworks. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. I kick up my heels, 'cause I know my worth. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. From a perfect God, perfect creation, from a holy one, I receive this revelation. From a perfect God, perfect creation, from a holy one, I receive this revelation. I will not consider myself any less than who I am. I will not consider myself any less than who I am. Keep it going now. I will not consider keep on dancing. Yeah. Yes, I will not consider myself any less than who I am. Declare one more time. I will not consider myself any less than who I am. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully made. Cut from the finest cloth, I am wonderfully